Hi guys, Jon Watts here from the TruGolf Academy. You've joined me on a beautiful summer's day at Drayton Park Golf Club, and today what I want to touch on is the question of when should I chip to when should I pitch. Now what I'm facing here is a 40-yard shot. You can hopefully just see the red flag behind my left shoulder here. It's a 40-yard shot. The pin is only on the green a couple of yards, so I've chosen two club choices. And one I'm going to hit a chip and run or a bump and run shot, and the other one is going to be a higher floated pitch shot. I want to touch on why I would choose one over the other, what would be the simplest option for you to use, and what situation you would use it in. So, as I said, I've got a 40-yard shot here. I've got two different clubs. I've chosen a 7-iron and I've chosen my 58-degree wedge. So the 58-degree wedge is what I'm going to be using to pitch that ball, and I'm trying to fly it all the way to the edge of the green there. So I've set out a circle. I'll highlight it on the video for you. I've set out a circle and it's a couple of yards short of the green, or about a yard short of the green, around 6-7 feet short of that pin, just to allow it to release on slightly. So I'm trying to fly that most of its 40 yards. Whereas my chip and run, my bump and run shot, I've set out another circle that's about 15 yards away from me. I'm trying to land it there and get that ball to bounce and roll up to the green. Now, the right option is which one you feel comfortable with. What I want you to do is practice the other one until you're as comfortable with both that you've got both options around the green. I get a lot of golfers where they're more comfortable chipping than pitching, and they'll choose that option more regularly, or the other way around, they're more comfortable with a lofted club in their hand. I think it's a great idea to get good at both. So practice your weakness away from competitions until you're comfortable with both these shots, and then you're choosing the right club for the right situation rather than the club that you're most confident with. So if I'm pitching this ball, for me a 40-yard pitch shot is around a hip height swing back, and I've just recently filmed a video on this. I'll put a link to it in this video. So it's a hip height shot, swing back, and I'm trying to use the loft and I'm trying to use the bounce. So I'm making sure that club actually passes my hands, and I finish with more of a 90-degree angle between my arms and the club shaft, which means I've used the loft, I've used the bounce, I'm not going in with a big shaft lean where my handle is ahead of the golf club. That's going to be more the chip and run, the bump and run shot. So let me go ahead and quickly hit a pitch shot, that 40-yard pitch shot. So this is trying to land, as I said, pretty close to the pin. Probably about 38 of those 40 yards. So hip height, and I'm going to allow that club to pass my hands. So I'm using the loft and the bounce. And I'll play this very much in the center of my heels. The handle more level with the golf club. That felt pretty good, but it's going to land a little short. Let me go ahead and just hit one more there. It was a nice contact. I just really didn't fly it far enough. So it's just stayed off the front edge of the green. One more. Center of my heels. Hip height. Just a little bit more acceleration too. That one's going to be pretty good. Okay, so I've got that one up there nice and close, just a few feet away from the pin. But my other option is the bump and run, the chip and run shot. So I've chosen a 7-iron for this, and as I said, I'm trying to land it around 15 yards. For a lot of golfers, I think this is the sensible option. When we're facing a situation like this, I've got nothing really in my way. The bunkers are set on the left and right. I've got a nice approach into the green. We're in the summer. It's nice firm ground conditions. I've got about 15 yards or so, maybe a little over that, of fairway before I get to the fringe grass. And the fringe is cut pretty short. It's slightly uphill to the flag, but not enough that it's going to really affect it. And I'm landing on a pretty flat area. This, once you're used to it, is a really sensible option. Now, I think the good shot, whether I'm pitching or chipping, is going to finish hopefully pretty close to that flag. But my bad one is going to finish further away with a pitch than it is with a chip. So for a margin for error, we've got a much larger margin of error with a pitch shot than we do a chip. So the chip will tend to be our simplest option. And when we can play it, when we can keep it low, I would. So when the ground is short, dry, flat, when there's nothing in your way, I would go ahead and chip that ball. If you need to fly the ball much more than 15 paces, you have to pitch the ball rather than chip the ball. So if I had to fly over the rough or over a bunker or stop that ball quicker, then I'm being forced to pitch. But always think, what is the simplest option? And I think that's your best one to go with. So if the ground was good enough to putt it, I wouldn't really think about it from 40 yards away, maybe in a links situation last week at Royal Troon, possibly. But I actually would always think of the simplest option, putting first, then chipping, then pitching before lobbing. So what is the simplest option? So on this one, as I said, 7-iron, I'm going to move the ball back in my stance. I'm going to make sure my sternum is forwards, my handle is forwards of the golf ball as well, and there's very little wrist action, so the club is staying low to the ground for longer. So I'm going to try and fly this about 15 paces. You'll see the circle on the screen again. Not bad, it landed a little bit too far right. I was obviously aiming just a touch there, but that's rolled up just on that edge of the green. It's left me around an 8-foot putt, so not quite as close as my good pitch shot, but it's closer than my poorer pitch shot. So one more, trying to land it at 15 yards. That was pretty good, and more on line, and that one's going to run up there nice and close again to around 3 foot, just short of the pin. Get used to both options, choose which is the best one for the situation. If there's nothing in your way and you can keep it low and the ground conditions are good enough, keep it low. If you're needing to fly the ball more than 15 yards, then we're having to be forced into a pitch shot, because really a chip and run, a bump and run action, we're not going to fly the ball much longer than that. Or if we need the ball to stop a little bit quicker, then you're going to be pitching the ball rather than chipping the ball. Look at the situation, analyze what club, then choose your landing area, just as I did in this one. 15 yards away was my chip and run, and my pitch shot was pretty much up near the flag. It was around 2 yards short of the flag. So think which is the best option. Work your way back from there to pick your landing area. That will dictate your club choice. Make sure you do practice both options so you're confident with both options when you're actually out on the golf course. I hope that video's helped. Please make sure you like the video if it did. Post any comments, questions, queries below, and check out lots of our other videos coming every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Thanks guys.